Before I begin this video, I just want to give a little spoiler warning. Due to the fact that the spin-off takes place after the end of a light novel, I may have to spoil some content that hasn't been adapted into the anime yet. I don't think I do, but if you're an anime only, then I would probably recommend not watching this just in case. Still here? Okay, cool. Let's go. October is going to be a great month for Data Life fans. Not only are we finally getting a new Data Life 5 trailer, but we're also getting a completely new spin-off, Kurumi Detective. So I thought, hey, I have nothing better to do aside from all those real-life responsibilities that I'm actively avoiding, so why don't I give my first impressions on this new spin-off? So, Kurumi Detective, Magic Detective Kurumi Tokizaki's Case Files is a light novel about Kurumi. Yeah, no fucking way. You know what, I'm just gonna read the plot summary off the wiki. Now, let's start our mystery genre. Kurumi Tokizaki, a female university student and detective that specializes in magical artifact crimes. A magical bullet fired from where sniping should be impossible, group coma by living dolls. In front of mysterious incidents that cannot be measured by common sense, Kurumi's deduction time is ticking. So yeah, from that obviously not Google translated description, we can infer that this is a supernatural detective story, which, you know, isn't necessarily my thing, but I'm sure it will be well written considering its Data Live. One of the reasons this is probably being written is to go into greater detail about magicians and just magic as a whole in the Data Life universe, since obviously the main villains of the series were literally magicians. And they never really went into detail about magic since the main story was obviously about the spirits, so yeah, I guess this being written makes sense. What doesn't make sense is who the main character of this spin-off is. Don't get me wrong, I love Kurumi and she's my favourite character in the series, but her being here just feels like cheap fan service. Especially since she already has her own spin-off light novel already. Honestly, I think a character like Origami would have been better for the spin-off since she would definitely make an extremely good detective and she's also a wizard which would link her to the whole magic element of the story a lot more than Kurumi. But if Kurumi is here, then I hope they continue her character arc in a substantial way instead of her just being here because she's popular. Hopefully she has the opportunity to atone for her previous sins in some way. However, what I am very glad to see is this design for Kurumi be used again. We've only seen her post-main story design once before this in Encore 10 and I always loved it, so seeing it here again is really cool. My new favourite piece of Kurumi art is definitely her cosplaying as herself, it's very cute. Speaking of cute, wow, what a great segue. Let's talk about the new character. Okay, here we go. I have to properly pronounce this. Okay. Matsurika Sukarabe. Her design definitely caught me off guard at first. It's very eccentric and I didn't really know how to feel about it, but it's definitely grown on me. Like her design, her personality also seems to be quite eccentric, with her basically forcing Kurumi into this detective agency. She seems to have that one brain cell mentality that most of the characters in this series have. However, obviously I can't form an opinion on her until I actually read the novel, which will probably be in about 50 years considering how long these things take to translate. But yeah, I'm sure her dynamic with Kurumi will be fun, probably very similar to Kurumi's dynamic with Hibiki, and overall I just look forward to learning more about her. So, what are my final thoughts on this spin-off before it releases? Well, I'm sure it will be well written, but I'm not as excited for it as I am for something like Season 5, for example, and that's probably because I'm not really into this detective novel stuff. I'm sure it will be good, but when Season 5 is so close to coming out, of course it's going to be overshadowed. I'm sure I'll read it, but for now, what's a good detective pun? Close the case. God, that was so fucking bad, Jesus Christ.